everyone, and welcome to my very first video on oil painting. Now I know a lot of you are probably wondering what I'm going to be teaching you today, and I'll get right up and just tell you we're going to be looking at tone. Now when I was actually at art school, I got there and I'm thinking, this is, I'm going back years. I got there and I thought, oh wow, I'm going to learn how to paint. And my teachers were like, no, initially you're going to learn how to draw, so we've done the drawing side. And then I'm thinking, great, I've learned how to draw, now I'm going to learn how to paint. I'm going to use all those wonderful colours. And my teachers were like, no, we're going to learn about value or tone. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me, seriously? This is kind of boring. But the thing about tone and colour is that it is the thing that is actually going to help your paintings work. A lot of people think, there's a lovely saying out there, actually, that says, tone does all the work, and colour gets all the glory. And it's really true, because people look and say, oh wow, that's a beautiful painting, look at the colour in it. But it's actually the tone or the value in your painting that is going to make your painting either work or not work. So before we actually go and have a look at colour, we're going to look at this thing called tone. So what we're going to use is we're going to use two colours. I'm going to use the colour raw umber and titanium white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a tonal scale so you can understand what a tonal scale is. This is what I did when I first went to school. I painted a tonal scale so that I can then start judging my colours against this tonal scale. And then the other thing that we're going to be looking at later on in this video, if not in this video, in another video, we're going to look at how to paint a 3D object on a 2D surface using just one single tone. Okay. Let's go and have a look at how to create a tonal scale. So when I first got to art school, the very first thing that they made me do, after I learned how to draw and after I learned how to get proportions and everything correct, and I'm getting into painting, they made me do a tonal scale. Now I didn't really want to do a tonal scale, I wanted to learn all about colour. As you can see, I've got all my colours laid out on my palette here. But before I get to talking to you about my colours, I really think you need to understand what tone is all about, because tone is what's going to make your paintings either work or not work. So the very first thing that they got me to do was they made me get a tonal scale with using one colour. So in this case I'm going to be using a raw umber this is by Winsor & Newton, and a titanium white, again by Winsor & Newton, and I will make this tonal scale. Now a tonal scale is basically something that goes from dark to light. Now if you looked at my watercolour paintings, my watercolour videos, you would have seen that I did a little gradated wash where we talked about dark to light, and this is how you do it in oils. Now with watercolour you use water to lighten your tone, whereas with oils you're either going to use a white, which is a cool colour, or a yellow. Now a yellow is a warm colour, and it's going to lighten your colours, but it's going to change them slightly as well, but you might want that. So basically what we had to do initially, actually that's true. First of all, what I had to do was I had to create a grid. So I had this lovely grid I had to do 9 tones. Now whether I do 9 tones in this video is up to me, but we're going to basically do a couple of tones to show you what it's going to look like. So the paint straight out of the tube. This is the darkest tone that you're ever going to get. Now if I pick up this tone and I put it against, say, my cadmium orange, you can see that this tone of the colour is darker than there's a cadmium yellow D. Now if you can see that this tone of this colour is straight out of the tube is darker than that tone. So each colour that you have, it has a natural tone to it, has a natural value to it, and that's something you need to understand. So that's why we're doing these value studies. So anyway, you initially grab your raw umber. This is what I had to do, grab my raw umber, and then I would grab a different paint thing. I would grab some titanium white, and this is my lightest colour in my scale. So I'm going to try to get a tonal range between these two extremes, from my dark to my light. So what I have to do is I pick up a piece of my dark colour, and I put it there, and then I grab some of my white and I put into it. Now how much titanium white I put into this colour will determine how light or dark it is. Now for some colours you'll need less titanium white to make a mid-tone, and you'll need more titanium white to make a mid-tone. Now in this case I feel like I need a little bit more, sorry, I've got paint on my arm, a little bit more of this raw umber to make that tone sit between the two. And you can see that I'm trying to find a midway point. Now, if I don't find it exactly, it's okay, because when I start doing the other ones, the ones in between, I can start adjusting these. Now, I want to create a tone between these two tones. So again, I'm going to actually get a bit more of this because I want to keep a lot of that colour on there. I'm going to put a bit of tone there, and I'm going to grab a bit of this tone and put it in there to create a midpoint. Again, I feel like it's going more towards this side, so I need to grab some more of this raw umber. And so now I have a lovely tonal range between these two. I've got this dark going to a bit lighter, going to lighter again. And then I'll pick up this one here and do the same here. Now the reason why I do this with a palette knife is because I don't want to, it's easier, it teaches me palette knife work as well as I don't have to wash my brush in between all these times. Usually I actually use like a, more like a palette knife like this one. So there I've got this lovely tone. Again, I think it's moving towards this too much, so therefore I'm going to grab more of the white and chuck it in there to try and get a tone that sits in between the two. I'm fairly happy with that. That's maybe a little bit too light again. And it's just a judgment thing. I'm just moving things, trying to get that tone correct. Okay, so that'll do for now. So if I'm going to now I can try and create a tone between these two, and then a tone between these two, and a tone between these two, and a tone between these two. So again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing I did last time. I'll grab my dark tone, my dark pigment, and grab this one and put it into this. Now it is possible that this one here is sitting a bit too close to that one. So I'm going to add a bit more of this into here. You see it more when you actually start painting it onto your canvas that I had, the grid that I had created. But this is just a little thing. Okay. I do feel. Alright, let's just, I'm going to grab more of this because I feel like this one here is sitting very close to that and not that one. So I've almost had this tone here going closer to that one. But this is what you do. You just pull them around, try and work out your tones. And the more you do it, the more proficient you get at it. Okay, so that's that tone there. Okay. Now I'm going to grab, again, I'm going to mix this one, and this one. So you can see how they're going lighter and lighter in colour and getting closer to each other. And do the same thing with this one. I actually feel like I'm going to run out of paint, so I'm going to grab some of this because there's a big chunk of that. I don't need that much. And remix this one. Just so I have a lot more paint to play with. Right, so now I'm going to do the same. Grab this little chunky thing, put it there, a bit too much of that, and a little bit of that, and try and mix a bit of time between that. Now if you can't do it there, feel free to move it across your palette, just to give you that room to Okay, so you can see I'm coming down, getting closer and closer. And then the final one is I'm going to grab this tone here, this in white, and try and make a tone that sits just between the two there. And that is my tonal scale there. Now, it may need some adjusting because, you know, I feel that these are sort of very similar, but we'll know more when we put it on our canvas. So let's grab our piece of canvas that we have, and let's put these colours down. So I'm going to start with my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's my 9 scale tones. So I'm going to start on this one, and I'm going to put that. And this is where palette work comes in. See, I'm learning how to use the palette knife on my canvas. All right, and then wipe that off and get the next one. That off, get the next one. See, they're quite close in value, and I'm worried. What I'm worried about is I'm worried that this section here is not going to be as contrasting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the white and put it down here. I don't know if you can see that. On here, try and clean your palette knife very nicely because I didn't really. So there's a bit of that colour in there. But that's my white. Then I'm going to grab the next one and put that next to it. Now see, when I put that there, see how much that's quite different. It's a big jump. So clearly the difference between this and this is not enough, is too much. And so therefore I'm going to have to readjust this colour here. Make it lighter. So what I thought I might have to do, let's spread that off. Grab more white and because you kind of want your eye basically to glide across the scale. Close to that. A little bit better. Still a little bit too much. A little bit more white. That's what I'm saying. This will give you. This takes time, but it's worth it. Now that. See, now that's much better. My eye doesn't have this huge jump. Okay, which now means I'm going to have to adjust each one of these ones. So this one here has to become a little bit lighter. That's good. Let's put that one down. This one, again we have to make this one lighter. I must say this was what happened to me when I first did it. I made these colours here way too dark, and my teacher was saying, nope, you have to do it again, do it again, do it again. And that's what I ended up doing a lot of. And yes, it was a bit frustrating, but it really taught me a lot. That doesn't jump a bit, but that's okay. And grab this one again. It has to be a tiny little bit lighter. No, that's too light. Okay, getting somewhere. Let me try and just put that down, see how far it jumps. Oh, that's beautiful. That just sits there nicely. And then see this jump here is a bit too much, so I'm going to grab, I don't have too many colours, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. I might have made too many colours. I'm going to grab these two colours, mix them together. Lighten this one ever so slightly. And that is how you make a tonal scale in oils. As I said, you can do it in with pink. I mean, not with pink, sorry, with yellow, but this is generally what you're going to be doing when you're doing your tonal scale. So in the next video, what I'm going to be looking at is using all these tonals, these colours that we've mixed up, and we're going to paint a ball. So I hope to see you there. So I actually hope you went out and you tried the tonal scales. You actually got your paints out and you did a tonal scale, whether or not it was in raw, umber and white, it doesn't matter, as long as it was just one colour and white, and you created that tonal scale so that you can see what your colours can do. I honestly have done so many tonal scales over the years, and I still don't do it correctly the first time. I still fiddle things. There are people out there who they just do it like that. They are so skilled in seeing tone. I'm not one of them. I do struggle with it, but I am beginning to understand more and more on how I can manipulate tone to create the atmospheric feelings that I want in my paintings. And that's why I think this is key for you to understand how to do this. So I hope to see you in the next video, where we actually then take these tones and we're going to create a 3D ball on a 2D surface. Hope to see you there.